OK, the right to peaceful protest is one of the main pillars of our democracy. But who decides what is peaceful? The new public order bill is about to reach committee stage next week. If it becomes law, it means that known protesters must wear electronic tags and make what's called locking on, such as gluing yourself to a petrol pump, illegal. Next month, there is a massive march planned in London to protest about the cost of living crisis. These new powers won't be in operation by then, but this might be one of the last mass protests that we see in this country. Silki Carlo, I have to confess an enormous girl crush on you because I have watched you from afar for years and you are so amazing. Sometimes I think you're like a guardian angel from the future. You've got the name Silky. If I was going to name an angel, she'd be called Silky with little wings. I think what you do in this topic is so incredible. Can you just explain to people, first of all, what Big Brother Watch is and why you're so amazing?
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, we're a British civil liberties campaign group that we work on, particularly on new technologies. For example, facial recognition, surveillance, etc. And what we're seeing at the moment is this legislative onslaught of anti-protest laws, often with a surveillance element. So, for example, in this new bill, the government is proposing that even innocent people who have been to marches and demonstrations can be fitted with GPS ankle tags, which is, I mean, so extreme you would be almost shocked if Russia was going to do this to dissidents.
Why don't more people understand these significant social changes which are going on?
That's a really good question. I don't know. And I hope that after the extraordinary events of the past 2 years, people do realise how quickly the world around them can change. As you say, next week, protests about cost of living crisis. I think there will be lots of social unrest in the years ahead for lots of different reasons, and it's important that we have the foundations of democracy in place, and part of that is that a citizen has the right to protest against their government and to make their views heard. This government is trashing our democratic traditions by legislating in a way that makes all kinds of protest and campaigning effectively illegal. It will have a massive chilling effect, and also it will massively expand political surveillance, because how are they going to decide who they want to fit with these GPS tags? Will it be me? Will it be you? We've been to marches and rallies and demonstrations. I think all of us sat here have. Anyone politically
I'm guessing Michael Heaver's never been to a protest.
I've been to political rallies, lots of political rallies, and I think, look, it's interesting.
Have you ever been and protested something with a placard?
I don't ever think it achieves much. I think if you want to achieve things, you do it through the ballot box, and actually I think that's what the government are trying to curb here. Look, I take on board the concerns that this way oversteps, innocent people with GPS tags or whatever. I mean, that's just way over the top.
But it's in the bill, Michael. It's happening.
Well, no. I mean, that's
the stuff.
I wasn't aware of that.
This dystopian nightmare.
If you're not been found guilty of anything, then I think that's completely over the top. But what I would say, let's just remind people, in Bristol there was it was a Kill the Bill protest that basically turned into an anti-police riot with police officers attacked.
According to who?
I think people have been charged on it and been found guilty. So, police officers were attacked, police vehicles were set alight. As for sort of Extinction Rebellion and these guys, I mean, we live in a democracy. If you want to achieve political change, then you do it through the ballot box. Of course, you should be able to go to a protest. What I don't think you should be able to do is an orchestrated, coordinated, deliberate attempt to effectively try and shut the country down. You talk about civil liberties of people that have been sitting in the cars, that may have lost their jobs, that may have lost their holidays, that may have not been able to go and see loved ones because you've had people holding up motorways for hours and hours and hours. And what I'd also like to say is, I know we're going to talk about class in a bit, but I think there is a class aspect to this. I go to the football all the time. If me and a load of Chelsea fans got in the middle of a street in the middle of London and told the police we weren't moving, do you think we'd be policed in the same way that these sort of middle-class fuddy-duddies are?
Oh, you're very middle-class.
Absolutely. We're absolutely where the police stand there, and we've seen occasions where effectively they've been in the motorway for 3, 4, 5+ hours. Now, I do think Priti Patel is trying to crack down on this a little bit, and he's got completely out of hand. But I think the British public the British government will have huge public support and in stopping Extinction Rebellion shutting down the country at will. It's ridiculous.
Do you know what?
Silki, I'm really conflicted.
I don't disagree with you, actually, Michael, on pretty much anything you've said.
There's a balance, isn't there?
But the thing is, the new powers that are coming in, they're being sold to the public on the basis of you don't want the roads blocked, you don't want... There are already so many laws in place that stop people from doing that, or that can be used to prosecute people who have done that. You know, obstructing a public highway is an offence.
But they haven't worked because...
But the police aren't using them, or they haven't used them effectively. And so under the banner of that, we're now having this decimation of our right to protest. And that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried that very extreme anti-democratic powers are being sold to the public, basically on the lie that police don't have the powers to deal with some of the very obstructive scenes we've seen recently.